Thank you, Chairman. I do appreciate that. My bill is very simple, and it may sound strange to some people, but when we apprehend a vessel illegally fishing in our waters, sometimes the vessel is at a dock and supported by, I believe, the United States maintained and kept afloat after they've been fishing illegally, and then sometimes are sold to a entity that could possibly go back into fishing or back to the owner originally. And my bill is very simple. Is that if it is apprehended and it have been fishing illegally, just like a drug dealer or anyone else in the committing a crime, which it is a crime, and then the property is confiscated and destroyed or sold. Personally, I'd like to see the vessels that are caught fishing illegally in our waters. That goes all 200-mile limits, but primarily in Alaska, because that's where we have the most infringements. That, Mr. Chairman, that the ship be used for target practice by the Coast Guard. They need that, and it's a live object which they could shoot at after to make sure we take all the oil off of it, et cetera, et cetera. But sink it, and it leaves a great impression on those might thinking about fishing illegally. So I'm suggesting in my bill is very simple. If the vessels apprehended in our waters fishing illegally, illegal caught on board, and is taken to port, and of course demanned. I wouldn't say like the Russians did one time. I have to tell a story about that. We had a vessel we'd been chasing for a period of time, and they finally got to the donut hole, which is up in Alaska where there's nobody's water, and we notified the Russians, and it was a Chinese vessel, and we asked the Chinese all that time to heave to, and they didn't. The Russians took over. They asked them to heave to, they didn't heave to, and they shot the wheelhouse off, and including the captain and a few other people, so the vessel was no longer operative. That's my kind of action. Of course, we don't do that. We don't do that. So I'm going to say that, though, in this case, I think it would send a message to those that want to fish illegally. Let's sink that vessel, put it out of commission no longer. It's offshore where it cannot interfere. It's in waters a mile deep, and I think it'd help the Coast Guard out. Well, with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back the balance of my time.